Well, welcome. I'm very excited you guys came today to learn about our business laws. For those of you who haven't met me, I'm Lizy Hoeffer. I'm a loan officer with Guild Mortgage. I've been in the business about 17 years. And in my career, what happened is 5 years ago, I had to reinvent myself. I got fired from my job, which meant I lost my database. I didn't have any clients. And at that point in time, I closed about 167 loans, and last year we closed over 800. Okay, so if you implement the things that we're going to talk about today, you guys will have businesses that blow up. And I'm going to talk about certain things because what happens is when we're in business, guys, a lot of times we get a ton of momentum, we get really excited, we get 4 clients, it's the busiest we've ever been, and we're like, oh my God, this is insane, and then the next month we close nothing, right? Because we've been babysitting all of our deals and we never put in, structure behind what happens when we get busy, okay? So I want to talk about these things that are super important, but very first, before we begin, I have a sales test that I want for you guys to take. And the sales test isn't meant to make you feel bad, but it is made to make you be more aware, right? So when we fill this out, it'll tell you where in your business you have some weaknesses and what are some things that we can improve, right? So just take a few minutes. I just need you guys to circle and add them up, and then we're going to go over this test together, okay? We're taking the sales test right now. Also, for those of you who are watching online, if you want a copy of the sales test or any of the marketing material that we're talking about in the class today, if you just go ahead and comment below, I'll make sure to get that to you, okay? Thanks. Let me know when you're done. The rule on this, though, is that if it's not 100% yes, it's a no, okay? It's a no. Done. Joey, how close are you?
6 left.
Okay. Bobby, you chuckled, did you finish?
Yeah. It's just like telling me, I just read what you tell me what I'm saying.
Right?
Reiterate that.
It's okay. Okay. So out of curiosity, guys, for those of you, how many of you got 12 or under? Okay? Cool. Well, then that means that we have a lot of things that we can be doing to improve our business. What's exciting about getting a score like that, though, is that there's 25 ways that you can then improve your business this year. Okay? And so I am part of a coaching group called the Core Coaching. They are the most elite coaching group in the country for real estate agents and for loan officers. You literally have to be in the top 0.5% to qualify to be coached by them. And of this, this list of items, if you did 16 or more, you were netting 7 figures, right? So what's cool is not a lot of these things they were super cost intensive, right? So we don't see a ton of internet leads. We don't see, big advertisements, billboards, magazine ads. We're not seeing any of those things to generate a 7-figure income. So it should make us all really excited, okay? Now, the other good thing is that sometimes we have businesses that generate a lot of income and we're not doing a whole lot of these things. So when I first took this test, and I am like one of the top loan officers in Arizona, I got a 12. And I was like, what the heck? And then as I started getting a little bit better, that score number increases. My now plan is to take 2 of these items on a monthly basis and implement them, right? Because that's how you can't do all 25 at once, but you can pick 2, and if you pick 2, right, this would change your business, okay? So at the end of the year, it'd be cool to revisit that and then say, hey, how much have I improved, okay? So let's get to these business laws, okay? So these have been the absolute true things that I have done in my career that have led me to be in the top of my field. And they are specific for any kind of business, any kind of sales business that you could have. So it's not lender specific, but they're 100% true all the time, okay? So the very first thing is having a database. How many of you have a database currently? Okay, now keep your hands up, right? If it's sorted and qualified. Okay, keep it up if you have more than 300 people. All right, cool. So as you can see, right, there's a lot of improvement that can be done on a database. So I want to talk about what a good database looks like, okay? It's a minimum of 150 people because you need enough people to be calling and targeting at every single moment. And that list should be broken up into 3 segments. If you're new to real estate, guys, you're going to double down on the other 2 lists. But it should be comprised of people that are influencers in their community, right? So these are people that you know and like, have not done business with you yet, but that can move the needle, right? So this might be the pastor in a church. This might be, the manager at a restaurant. This might be your title rep, the PTA mom, right? This might be the soccer coach, seriously, right? People who can influence other people, right? And you can usually spot them because if you're ever in a party, they're the people that everyone goes, oh my God, I need to introduce you to so-and-so. Or have you met so-and-so? Or you see them shaking hands, giving high fives, everyone seems to know them. That's the kind of person that you're looking for, okay? The other list should be 50 past clients. So these are people that you liked doing business with and that you would want to do business with again, and then have other clients that are similar to. And then the last list is 50 professional contacts. So these are people that you respect in business. These are people that you want to refer and that you would want to refer you back. Okay, so it's not just anybody who has a job. Okay, so because we know lots of people, right? We know lots of financial advisors, title reps, mortgage loan officers, bankers. We know lots of them, but would you refer your mother to them? Okay, if you would not use them as a referral partner, they do not qualify. Okay, and they have to be professional and then also can refer you back business. Okay, so we want as many of those contacts as possible. If you've never had a client in your life, then it's 75, influencers and 75 professional contacts. Okay, now people always ask me, well, how do you meet professional contacts? Is this a question that you've always asked yourself? Okay, here's the very first way that you can start, right? So of the people that you know and like, so this includes family, friends, the influencers, you can ask them, based on your experience, who would you recommend to do your taxes? Who would you recommend to help you in a legal matter? Who would you recommend for a CPA? Okay. Once they say things like this, then you can use this very awesome technique called a triangle of trust. And this conversation goes, hey Harry, it's Lizy Hoeffer. Joey said that you were the absolute best CPA in the history of America, and I really want to meet you. Right? Can I take you out to lunch and pick your brain? Because good professionals like you, I want to be in business with. Okay? That's how that works. They probably aren't going to say no because Joey's a trusted person who highly recommended them. Okay? And so you can get that meeting, and so long as you provide value and figure out what they need, you could be their go-to person. But that's how you do it. And you can grow your list, guys, exponentially if you just ask people to introduce you to other people. So this morning, Joey told me, I've been having him work on this list for a couple of weeks now. And he said, hey, I'm still short on the list. And I said, great, we're going to do this very uncomfortable thing. I'm going to take a picture of you and we're going to post on Facebook right now and we're going to ask for recommendations and we're going to see whoever responds who's not in your database will now be something that you add to your database. Okay? So you can do things like that, and the ask was very straightforward. Is, hey guys, I want to grow my real estate business this year, but I need your help. Okay? Please tell me what it would take to be your real estate agent, or what it would take to be the best real estate agent. Depending on your comfort level, we're going to be as aggressive or as not aggressive. So on Joey felt this was literally the last thing he ever wanted to do, ever. Okay? So we said, hey, tell me what it would take to be the best real estate agent. So we're not being as aggressive. But like if you ever look at my social media posts or my asks, I straight up ask. Like, I want to be your loan officer, what does it take? Okay? So depending on your comfort level, but you can do things like that. Those strategies are super huge. And anybody who responds in a Facebook post are qualify under a raving fan. So these are people that make amazing referral partners. A raving fan, guys, is literally the person that says the word home and they're screaming, oh my God, you've got to meet Chris. Right? They didn't ask for a realtor. They didn't ask for a title guy. But you're going, oh my God, I need to meet Chris. By the way, guys, Chris is right there. He is my title man. He is like, we love him in title. So if you need a good title person, that's the guy. Right? But those are the raving fans. They promote. The other category is a promoter. Okay, and the difference between a promoter and a raving fan is that a raving fan just needs the word to start hollering your name. A promoter actually needs an ask, right? They need a, hey, do you know a good real estate agent? Doesn't matter if they've been asked directly, they're going to refer you, okay? So it's important to identify those people, and you can do it a variety of ways. You can ask for, hey, I need a good recommendation for a CPA. How many of you guys have ever asked for a recommendation on social media? Yeah, you get a whole bunch of people. The people that respond are people you want in your corner, regardless of whether you ask them for a referral or not, okay? Now, here's who also responds, and this is why people don't like to put themselves out. Detractors respond on social media. So those are the people, guys, that will poke fun at the thing that you just posted. That was very serious. They're the haters. They're just these people that they just feel the need to just be rude, okay? Now, what's important to know about a detractor is that they're just as important as a raving fan. And if you can get a detractor to be on your side, they will be a raving fan, okay? Or they'll be your least favorite person in business. You have to pay attention to those people. I have a detractor program, so people who hate on me, I love on them extra hard until I convert them to a raving fan. I promise you, real businesses do that too. It's why when they get a bad review, if they're smart, they pay attention to it, they buy them a gift, they take care of it right away, okay? The majority of your database, the majority of people that you know, guys, qualify under a category called passive, okay? So these are people in your database that you have already, if you've already sold homes, that bought with another real estate agent because you never stayed in contact with them, okay? 60% of the population will just do what they're told by somebody who has more a passionate opinion than you did, right? So if they came in contact with a raving fan or a promoter, they're just gonna flip, okay? They're satisfied, but they're not overwhelmed with gratitude for you, okay? So just know that for the passive people, you have to be in their face all of the time, okay? If you are not in their face all of the time, they will forget you, okay? How many of you have been in an open house, You love these people, they were your best friends, you're absolutely gonna sell them a house, and then they never answer the phone. They ghost you. Okay? Those people are passive people. Okay? They probably ran into somebody and said, oh my God, I met the most amazing real estate agent, and someone said, whoa, you're not gonna use Aunt Carmen? Like, you know that she's a real estate agent, right? You can't not go against the family. Well, you know, right? You know those people, right? And then they never call you again, right? Because somebody else had a stronger opinion about who they should use. Okay? It happens. Okay? So just know that in order to get the 60% of the population to do business with you, you have to easily show them the next step and always be in front of their face. Okay? I know that everyone gets all weird about how much or how frequent. It's all the time, guys. Like Gary Keller, who I think is one of the smartest human beings when it comes to real estate, says you have to communicate with somebody 33 times a year. Okay? So it's never too much. Especially if you're learning to provide value. Okay? So does everyone understand the importance of a database? I started with the most important rule. Okay? The next one is figuring out how to schedule in 2 to 4 hours a day of prospecting. Okay? This one always gets people because immediately they start off with, I don't have enough time to prospect. I've got to show people properties. I've got to meet them for buyer consults. I got to show up for my inspections and my signings. Sound like you? Okay? Right? Here's the deal. You will have all of those things happen, especially if you're a successful business person, but you have to figure out ways to overcome. Because if you don't, you'll be that person that had 4 transactions that's hovering over them, right? That doesn't want anything to happen to them, and then the next month you have no paycheck. Okay? That will happen, so you have to figure out how to prospect. So for me, my day is very scheduled. Believe it or not, guys, and this is going to freak some of you out, I have my entire calendar scheduled for a year. Okay? The entire one, and everyone goes, but how do you know when you're going to have an appointment? Because I've selected when I have appointments. And I just book them in. I promise you guys, it's an option close. Do you have this time or this time available? They always pick it, right? On the rare occasion that somebody says, oh, I can't, right? I can decide if I break a rule. Okay? But typically people always fall in line. And if you make sure that you are scheduled and time blocked, guys, and that you're figuring out what things are going to take you away, like an urgent 911 fire, then you figure out, okay, what do I do to keep my prospecting time sacred? So the other thing I did is, I don't check my email or my phone before I start prospecting. I know that there's some of you who wake up at 4 a.m. to like stretch and do yoga and then check your emails. Okay? Do not check your phone. It's like a black hole of problems. Like, who has ever read, like, open up their email and been like, oh my God, I'm so excited, I've got 15 to-dos. Right? No one. Okay? It starts your day off wrong. So if you're going to wake up early, get in a workout, listen to a book or podcast, get your mind straight, visualize your day, how it's going to work, and then make prospecting calls, and you can start calling people, guys, as early as 7, right? And this is a real thing, to 11, right? So figure out when you can do it. Now, I will tell you this, most people make their best financial decisions and the ones that they stick to before 10 a.m. in the morning. Okay? Now, it's the second best time to call somebody in a day in terms of reaching people, but when you reach somebody in the morning time, they are more committed to that decision than anybody that you talk to past 4 p.m. And that's a proven statistic. There's an entire book on it. It's called When. So when I changed my prospecting time to first thing in the morning, I had less things that prevented me from doing it. Stop checking my email, my phone also prevented me from jumping into other rabbit holes. Okay? And even though, no, I didn't have the same number of contacts that I would have had from 4 to 6, those people were more committed, so I actually closed more deals. So if you schedule your prospecting first, chances are you're always going to make it. Okay? So if you got anything from this, it's schedule your calendar as much as you can and live and die by it. Okay? And then it's also, right, figuring out ways that you're going to absolutely get your prospecting done. Okay? I can tell you at the end of the day, mentally, you are the most checked out. Okay? So it might sound easier to just not make the calls because it's 4 and you're tired. Okay? So at 4 p.m., guys, most of us go into our relaxation mode, our creativity mode. It's actually the best time to plan, but it's not the best time to prospect. People are chatty Cathy's, you have great conversations, and they're like, yeah, call me tomorrow. Right? Okay? So I just want you to know that. All right. The other thing is we live in a world, guys, where everything is on social media, and we think that if we tell everyone via beautiful pictures and awesome Facebook posts that we're doing enough communication to let people know that we are real estate agents and loan officers, okay? We just don't want to call people, right? But I can tell you that our competition is that, right? They have way more money for advertisement. Yes or no? Zillow has way more money than all of us. Good. I just want to make sure that everyone is clear on that. Okay, so they have way more money for marketing. Okay, so what they do not have is the capacity and the relationships to communicate with people on a human level. Okay, no internet company, no computer, no robot can emote. Okay, we can emote. We can do amazing things with personal connection, but you cannot do that if you do not pick up the phone and you do not, see people face to face. Okay. The other thing is too, guys, you have to bring a level of energy that people are excited to call you back. Okay. Let me tell you, I hear people prospect, and I do call nights with real estate agents all the time, and this is what their voicemails sound like. So if it sounds yours, I'm not going to call you out, but this is what, hey, this is Lizy Hoeffer. I'm calling with my home group real estate. Please call me back. And they leave their phone number. Click. Hi, I saw you were looking at properties. I would like to get you in my car to show you a property. Right? Like, okay, would you call that person back?
No.
You know what? I would hang up the second they said they were a real estate agent. Okay, so here's what I always do if I don't get anyone. Hey Joey, it's Lizy. Give me a buzz, 480-593-4510. Talk to you soon. Click. Did it sound like I know Joey?
Yes.
Does it sound like I'm excited to talk to Joey?
Yes.
Okay, would Joey call me back?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you, I do it all the time. And I just sit and I'm like, oh my God, Joey, I've been dying to talk to you. Hey, you've been on my website for like 400 days. And we haven't taken you out to go see a property. Am I sending you a bunch of garbage or what?
Okay.
Right? And they always laugh, okay? And then we start a conversation. The second you can break the ice with people, guys, it's like amazing, okay? But you cannot do it with low energy, okay? You gotta be the most excited in the room. You've gotta be that magnet, right? And then it doesn't become so hard to make conversations. Like, guys, there have been more doors and more hang-ups in my past than I promise you than everybody in this room, okay? I have sucked so hard, I once had to refinance my car to pay my bills, okay? That's how many people said no to me. So I know that it's very hard, okay? So I'm not trying to say that the years of like social rejection aren't strong, but I'm just telling you that if you go into it thinking that everyone's going to love you, that these people are going to call you back and you're going to sell a home today, you will sell a home today, okay? If you're like, I just got to get my prospecting done, look, the law of averages says you just need to make enough phone calls, so that'll probably happen too, but you'll have to make quadruple the amount of phone calls than Lizy who's calling Joey, okay? All right, so there is no replacement for physical communication. Is everyone clear? Does everyone have an idea of what that is? Cool. All right, now the second, guys, is every business should be comprised of a primary source of business, a secondary source of business, and then what's called a supplemental source of business, okay? Now, I know that a lot of people think that they know what theirs is, but when we put it down on paper, it normally changes. So here's how you absolutely figure it out. And if you guys want a spreadsheet that's already calculated out for you, all you have to do is sign up with Sammy. Okay? But here's what you do. You get a list of all of your clients, you put their names down. Okay? In the second column, you say if it's a buy or sell. Okay? Then you get a purchase price, right? You get the property type if you want to be super specific, right? Or an area. Okay? Then you get a referral source, and referral source, guys, is not SOI, okay? You need to know, like, was this a business contact? Was this a realtor referral? Was this a friend or family? Was this one of my influencers? You need to figure out where in your database you're having traction, okay? And then it needs to be the activity that generated the lead, okay? So if you made a phone call, write it down, direct call. Or if they called you, it's inbound call. right? It's a Facebook post or a newsletter, a happy hour, a family party. You have to figure out how these people are coming to you. And if you don't know, you need to ask. Oh my God, I am so excited to talk to you. What prompted you to call me? And they'll say, oh, well, I've been watching all your Facebook posts forever, right? I get this. And then I'm like, awesome, I write Facebook next to it because I need to know if what I'm doing is working, okay? And then right after the activity, it's the person who referred it. Because you need to know who the raving fans and promoters are in your life, okay? It is so important for you to figure that out because we need to spend most of our time and energy with the people that are sending us business, okay? Now, what normally happens once you get all this data is that you can actually see trends, okay? So you can see trends like, am I the guy that sells $300,000 condos in Scottsdale to people who are 30-year-old males, okay? That's what happens when you look at the data. So when I look at my data, guys, guess what? I sell homes, or I finance homes for under $300,000 for first-time home buyers, okay? Typically on the west side, okay? That's my jam, okay? Now, if I set up marketing, am I gonna market to luxury homes in Scottsdale?
Oh my God, no. Good
Am I gonna market to out-of-state buyers? Would it make sense for me to do that? Okay, this is what's so hard about this is that we never wanna pigeonhole ourselves, right, to anything. We want to make sure that everybody knows that we can do luxury properties and investment properties, and I work in Goodyear and Buckeye and Scottsdale and Prescott and everywhere in Arizona, right? But then people don't know what to connect us with, okay? They don't know what to connect us with, and we have no idea what to say on a regular basis because we have so many products and so many things and so many clients, okay? So we have to get super specific in that, right? Because our next rule is we have to have a proven process and benefit statement, okay? And if you have a proven process with a benefit statement, guys, then you can do this magical thing called a guarantee, okay? And my guarantees have closed me more deals than almost anything else in my marketing, aside from maybe the cupcakes, right? So let me explain what that is. So now that I know that my niche is first-time homebuyers, what do you think first-time homebuyers care about? Closing costs, down payment, okay.
Mortgage payment.
Mortgage payment, what else do you think?
Interest rate.
Interest rate, so they care about the financial things, absolutely. So I have to be, guys, I have super competitive rates. But I will tell you that amongst everything, guys, they're the most scared about the process, actually. Okay, they don't know what comes next, and they're terrified of being disqualified. Okay, so they want to make sure that you have competitive fees, right? They want to make sure that you have a process, and also because they need closing costs and because they need down payment assistance, what do I need to do as their lender to make sure that they get their offers accepted? What could I be doing?
Good negotiator, good real estate agent.
I could help them with a good real estate agent, but I could back up their negotiations, right, with a phone call, right, to the listing agent. How about closing quicker than a 30-day transaction?
Collect the documents prior to.
Right? So, so when I market to first-time home buyers, guys, this is what I say. Hey guys, we are the #1 bond lender in the entire country. That is a fact about Guild Mortgage, okay? That is a feature statement that will benefit them. So I just went off the board, right? I'm not saying that I am, I'm saying my company is, and it's a feature, okay? Now, why that's important to you is because you might need help with buying a home and closing with, closing costs or down payment assistance. What that might do to your offer, though, is that many sellers get freaked out about all of the extra contingencies, so we need to be super competitive. So one, we're gonna do a full underwrite before you get under contract. And two, I'm gonna close you in under 26 days with a $500 on-time close guarantee that will go to the seller if we do not close this on time. Do you think that's a valuable proposition that they can walk away with that solves most of their problems? And oh, by the way, while you're in the process, I have a video for every single step. Here's a list of terms, and we will call you on Tuesdays and Fridays to let you know where your home loan is. Okay? I'm quenching all of their fears. Everything in sales comes down to 3 things, guys. How you solve time, how you solve money, and how you solve stress. Okay? So when you have a proven process, it needs to be towards your niche clientele, okay? And you have to back it up with a guarantee, Okay, so if your clientele is first-time homebuyers, you need to tell them that you get X number of clients into their contracts, right? Because you have such a solid process and you're such a great negotiator that most, like 85% of times, 8 out of 10 clients, you get all their closing costs paid for, right? Is that a strong benefit statement to somebody who's worried about costs? Okay? Not to mention you work with one of the best lenders in the state who will guarantee their closing to the seller, which makes you more competitive. Right? There's all these things, but you got to figure out what your niche is in order to be able to sell to them. Okay? Does that make sense? Does anyone currently have a benefit statement that's really strong and they know their clientele? Okay, cool. So this, guys, I learned in a concept from a book called Mr. Schmooze. Okay? It's my favorite business book I ever bought. Okay? All right. So now that we have a proven process and everybody understands a guarantee. Also, guys, Craig Proctor Coaching teaches this very thing too about having a guarantee. If you look at it, it's like all the advertisements are, we'll buy your home if we don't sell it for 30 days, or we'll have a full cash offer in the next day. Do you see those advertisements? That's a guarantee. Okay? Because the biggest fear that typically people who are selling their homes have is it gonna, am I gonna get an offer? Right? So you just have to figure out your biggest fears of your clients. Okay? Now, the next thing, guys, is once you have a proven process and you have a database, what normally ends up happening is that we have some business, we're generating, and then we're spending more money than we realize. Okay? How many of you are guilty of spending money on marketing and things that you never really account for? Okay? I know I'm super guilty, right? So I want to give you a budget for how things should be done, because here's the golden rule of business, guys, and this is the golden rule for every single business in the history of America, and this is true. You have to always make a profit. If you have a month where you have 0 closings, did you make a profit? What are you? Out of business. Okay? Always make a profit, which also means that you cannot spend more than you make. Okay? This is a huge issue. Most of the time, we'll see big numbers. We'll see someone closed $100 million, and we find out that they only made $200,000. Right? $200,000 is a lot of money. Okay, but $100 million is a lot of business. So to only have netted that much tells me there's problems in the business. Okay, and it's typically regarding spending and budget. Okay, so if your business is under $5 million a year, you should be spending 7 to 8% on marketing and lead gen activities. That's it. Okay. That is it. I met with a real estate agent yesterday who closes on average 2 deals a month, and she was spending $2,600 on Zillow a month.
Oh my word.
That happens. Okay? So I just want you to know but that's how she gets her business, her primary, but when we look at the end of the day, if we're breaking even, does that make sense? Okay? We need to what?
To our numbers, by our budget.
Always make a profit. Okay? All right, so if you are over $5 million, guys, you can spend 10 to 12%. Okay, that is it on marketing and lead gen. Then after that, guys, it's 10% on operational costs. So these are all your tools, your subscriptions, the things that it takes you, right? Your MLS, your lockboxes, your things. That should be what it is, okay? And then 40% should be on salaries. So if you have admin costs, right, or TCs, like for those of you who think like a one-man show, if you pay for a TC, that's a salary cost. Okay, if you've outsourced your marketing, again, you could consider that a salary cost or marketing, right? Because you're outsourcing things that are business related. And then you should aim at a 40% profitability for your income. Okay?
Not including cost of living.
No, that's what you have in your cost of living. What you take home is 40% of your gross revenue.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the gross margin, guys, is your marketing. So that's basically the amount of money that it takes you after you have your marketing expenses to pay the rest of your bills. So if you take your gross revenue minus, let's say, 8% if we're being really, gracious with that amount, okay, then 10% off that is operational costs. Then if you have salary costs, right, all your TC work, all the things, and if you don't have any right now, you'll be more profitable, but if you ever want to scale and you want to leverage, this is the amount that you have to manage by, okay? I've seen many people give away all of their splits, so if your plan is to have a team and you plan on giving splits that are greater than 50%, this will eat into that and you have to pay attention. Okay? It costs a lot of money to be able to leverage your time and leads. Okay? Alright, so always make a profit is rule number 6. Okay? And I would argue that it's like number 2 underneath the database.
Is there a book that you read for this?
Actually, took a bunch of business classes, but there's, have you guys heard of Udemy? It's U-D-E-M-Y. Okay, so you can take online courses for anything. I've taken photography classes there, and I've taken business classes. I really wanted to master my P&L. That's a goal for 2019, so I took a bunch of business classes to help me understand how much of my gross revenue should be applied towards these things. Okay? So it's a Udemy course.
U-D-I?
It's U-D-E-M-Y. Okay. Now, this is one that is specific to me, but I imagine that most successful people also have something to this. But this is what I do to accomplish goals. So I have never been a person that just wishes a goal, that hopes for things to happen, that I go, you know what, this next year I'm just going to close 1,000 deals, right? Like, that's just my goal. I feel like that's possible, right? That's just never been me. I've always looked at the data and then wanted moderate growth. So anywhere between 20 and 30%, and that's what I go for. And then I have what's called a stretch goal, right? Which is if I had my best year ever, if I did everything right, if I calculated and reduced my fallout rate by 5%, what could I get to? And normally that number is a number that scares me. Okay, if it does not scare you, okay, it's not high enough. Okay, it should make you uncomfortable, and the very first thought should be, I don't know if I can do this. Okay, now here's the trick, is that once you acknowledge what that number is, you write it down, and then that's the last time you pay attention to it. Okay, what comes next is all the reasons that you're not going to hit that goal. Okay, everyone. And it comes down to, like, guys, when I write things out, like, there was one time when I wanted to be able to present in front of people, and believe it or not, I had never done one speaking thing ever. My business partner had. And when I got fired from my job, I was like, shit, I've got to learn how to do lunch and learns. And I wrote down, I need to learn how to speak in public. Okay? So I wrote down a lack of confidence, lack of knowledge, I'm not dynamic enough, why would people want to hear me, what would it take? And then I started writing them down. I said, okay, once I eliminate these things, I will be an awesome speaker.
You've come a long way, lady, because you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you. So that's what happens, right? So once you pay attention to all of the reasons why something is not going to work out, you eventually hit that goal, okay? I can tell you that I never set out to close 800 deals. That was never a goal of mine, right? But I did set out to have the most efficient process that you could have, okay? Because I practice and focus on those things, right? The best, most efficient system you can have, the results follow, okay? But if I focus on 800, do you think I would hit 800? No, because it's out of my control. Like the number of referrals, truthfully, that I get, or the number of contracts, or you guys getting your offers accepted, or appraisals coming in, and all, like so many ducks have to line up, okay? And so if you focus on the end number, it's so hard to hit it, because you're so focused on that you're not paying attention to all the small details, right? So we win by the small things, consistently over time, okay? It compounds, okay? So if you want to close 100 transactions, what's going to prevent you, right? You. Yeah, first of all, it's your mindset, okay? That's number one. But number two is, do you have the resources? Do you have the leverage? What does your calendar look like, right? How many people do you have to add to your database, right? Where are you spending your money? Like, you have to get down and go, these are all the reasons that it's not working out for me. And then you categorize them by the net impact to the overall goal, right? So like I typically go for income generating things first, okay? So if I need more leads, I'm going, okay, well, how many people do I have to add to my database to get more leads? How many contacts do I need to get more leads? How can I help my referral partners be even better this year? Okay, like I know that I have, like seriously, I worked at a call center forever, so I know I'm a really good cold caller, so I know that if I need to, I'm gonna get on a Zillow account and I'm gonna start calling all their old leads. Okay, that's a way I can impart value and move the needle, okay? Right, and then I can teach my agents how to make stronger cold calls. Okay, I showed up to a call night last week, was there for 1 hour, and I booked an appointment. Okay, that was more than some people who were there for 4 hours. Okay, so that's the things you know, right? I need more leads, how many more contacts, how many more activities, where am I going, where am I having the most traction, how do I value and benefit the people who are already providing me business, okay? How do we maximize that exposure, okay? All right, so now that does everyone know what an issues list is, right? And you're gonna do it in your business.
I'm sorry, I was in another meeting, I walked in late.
So it's a list of all the reasons why you're not gonna accomplish something, okay?
Excuse list.
Yep, or your excuse list, right? I like to think, like, you could come up with excuses, guys, but excuses are more personal. For me, it's like, I lack confidence. Well, why do I lack confidence? Well, I don't have this knowledge. Okay, well, go to a class. Okay? Go to a Toastmasters. Go to a networking. Listen to a podcast, right? Like, those things, once you really break down what's causing the insecurity, easy tactical things you can manage. Okay? Going to therapy is also part of the list. Okay? If that's what you need. Okay? Now are we all familiar with an issues list?
Thank
Okay,
you.
you got it. Now, guys, you always need to track your progress. How many of you track how many leads you get, where the leads came from, what your conversion rate and fallout rate were every month? Yay! Good job, Tom. Good job. All right, so this is super, super important. You really need to track this all, and here's why. Because over a 90-day period, guys, it shows, like, you'll start seeing, like, patterns, right? So when I started tracking all my prospecting activities, I realized that even though I have strong cold calling skills, I wasn't a good closer on the phone when it came to referral partners. Okay, I could do that way better in person, face-to-face. Okay, so because I saw that in my numbers, the weeks that I had more face-to-faces, I just made a plan and a schedule that I was going to do more face-to-faces. Okay, so here's the core recipe for success. Okay, so write this down. Okay, and it's going to sound intense, but I promise you, if you do this, you will have an insane business. Okay, so 60 great conversations. A great conversation says you booked an appointment to meet with them, they gave you a referral, or they said that you were their referral partner. 15 face-to-face. So guys, these aren't like meetings where you're having like an hour lunch. These are, hey, you did a milk route. Hey, I'm quickly dropping by your office. Just wanted to drop off a small gift to say thank you for being my client. Are you going to be there at noon? I have a lunch right around the corner. Okay? You stop in and you're like, oh my God, I just want to give you a big hug. I love you to death. Hey, is there anyone else here you think that might need a real estate agent? Okay? And then they take you and they go and introduce you to their friend Sally. And now you have Sally's contact information. I promise you, I have done this forever. I do it with real estate agents. I do it with financial planners. I do it with my accountant. I have a client who works at one of the big bars down, what is it? Riot Entertainment. And I show up with cookies. He got a promotion. And I said, hey, who else do you think needs a home loan? And he's like, I don't know. Let me take you around. Hey, guys, my mortgage lady. Hi, guys. I do mortgages. Anyone need me? Right? And then you start talking about people. Somebody had a refi. Somebody had a horrible experience, right? Somebody had something, and you just write them all down. You have new contacts in your database. Okay? Anyone ever tell you that they had the worst experience ever in mortgages or real estate? Are people that are open for business, guys. They're not going to do business with their old real estate agent. Get their contact information, right? Because if they're brave enough to tell you how much they hated it, that means they're a detractor. And if you love on a detractor, what happens? They become a raving fan. Okay? So, just pay attention. Track everything. Okay? Then, guys, you have to review your plan. So your budget, your activities, everything, every 90 days and make adjustments. Okay? You cannot expect that the plan that you set out on at January 1st is going to be the plan that continues all the way through the end of the year.
Hopefully it will get better.
It'll get better, it'll change, people move away, people get, like, something happened in a transaction. You just have to realize that, you know, for lack of better terms, shit happens. And that you have to make adjustments all the time. Okay? So as you make adjustments, guys, what's super important is that you can always redirect, recourse, or apply more focus on the areas that you're having most traction. Okay? So that one for me has been huge. I do this activity called what's working, what am I gonna test and implement, and then what am I gonna straight up stop, right? There are things that I thought were like world's best idea that did not generate any referrals, but took up a bunch of my time, okay? Something that I'm currently in test phase on, I've implemented it, are videos, they're Money Tip Monday videos, right? So I have started them this year, right? But I have no idea if they're gonna work. I've put out 3 so far. I haven't generated any leads, but I have gotten a ton of engagement from old leads, right? Reviving, thanking me for it, with new contacts and with past clients. So I'm just testing it out and I'm gonna review it in 90 days and say, hey, am I gonna keep doing it? Because it's a huge time investment to do this, okay? The other thing is that, you know, when Zillow changed what they were gonna do, I had a bunch of Zillow partnerships. And I had a ton of leads that went down to this and still cost me a ton of money. Did I have to review that plan? Yes, so did all my real estate partners, okay? So things change, so you have to review. And then on an annual basis, guys, I review my proven process and try to improve on it 30%, okay? So I take the things that are working and try to make them even better, because the things that got you to where you are today are just never enough to get you to that next point. Okay, and that's a really hard lesson that I learned when I started. So I stayed in the 160 something for many years. It was like 4 years before I ever had any momentum, and it's because I did the same things over and over and over again, and then I almost had a decline, right? Because those things, they stop working after a while. They get stale. People are like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get my cupcakes again this year, right? They're not as sexy as the first time, okay? So just know the things that got you here today will not be the things that get you to the next level. Okay, so you always have to be improving. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about, guys, so this is rule number 10. And I almost like hesitate to even talk about it at all, because this is where people get lost in the rabbit holes, and this is social media and marketing. So here's the deal, guys. Social media is super important when it comes to leveraging relationships and it comes to getting your name out there. Okay, it just is. This is the way of the world, and it's the most cost-effective marketing that we can have, right? Because we don't have thousands of dollars for commercials or for ads and for all these things, okay? So you have to have a social media presence that doesn't consume your day. Okay, so here's my personal strategy. I post 2 personal posts, then a post that provides value, then a post that's a straight up professional ask. Okay? So 2 personal, 1 of value, 1 ask. Okay? And it's because I don't want to always be asking. I want people to get bought into my story. I want them to care about me and my family and why they're helping me. And I also want to make sure that if I am asking, I am giving. Okay? Which is why I created the Money Tip Monday, because I figured the best way to provide value is to help people make money. Okay, and that's something at least that over the course of 17 years I've really studied, and it's the area where I'm the biggest expert in, right? If I was going to give advice, right, it's going to be on the thing I know the most. Okay, so you just have to make sure. The other thing is that you're engaging with people that engage with you. And you don't have to raise your hand, but I will tell you that when somebody that I knew from high school all of a sudden liked my photo, I pay attention. Right? I'm like, oh my God, I haven't talked to Colleen in forever. What is she doing? Click on her profile, and I start stalking. Right? Oh my God, she has 2 kids. I have 3 kids. Like I just start like relating, and it's so easy to be like, oh my God, how the heck are you? I just cyber stalked you for like an hour, but how the heck are you? Right? It's an easy way to have a conversation, but what it cannot replace, guys, is physical communication. Okay? So you have to have a plan to engage, right? So you gotta like your rating fans' comments, you gotta post, you gotta support them, you gotta keep track of their life events, right? So people who are getting married, divorced, just had a baby, got engaged, promotion, right, downsizing, these are all people who are likely to buy in the next year. You don't want to miss that opportunity, so you want to be very engaged in their life in an authentic way. Okay? So this is how you pay attention. This is like it's intel on the people that you know and like. So you want to engage, you want to have a good, consistent posting structure, and you want to pay attention to what your people are doing. Okay? But do not get lost. Social media should play as much of a percentage of your week as your budget. Okay, so if it's 10% of a 40-hour week, how many hours is it? 4. Okay? Now 4 hours in one sitting is a lot, right? But if you broke it out into like 30 minutes a day, right? That's very doable. At 7 in the morning, every morning is when I post. Okay? It's like the very first thing. Now sometimes I forget, like today, and I posted right out in my car, right before I walked into this office, okay? Here's how I figure out how to post. I listen to podcasts, books, all kinds of things, and then I journal my thoughts, okay? And then whatever I've thought about, I post with a picture, right? And I have lots of pictures. You have lots of pictures of your whole life. You just pick a picture and post. Not all of my pictures are related to anything I post. Like if you look at the one today, it's about budgeting and working out, right? I have 2 things I hate the most, and it's me crying in front of my computer. They're not that related, you know, but I just picked a funny picture and put it with my post, okay? So it's just thoughts I've had throughout the week, and that's what people get, okay? So don't make it complicated. Don't think you have to now become a marketing copy editor, right? Just be you and make it a consistent process, okay? So these are my absolute laws with business. Before I conclude, I just want to give a huge shout out to somebody that I'm a raving fan for. I mean, I love these people a ton. Have you guys done your property inspections with the Lions home inspections? Okay. She is sitting in the back there, guys, and I just really wanted to promote them because Rich is a client of mine and a huge promoter of my business, and I just want to do whatever I can to make sure that people know him, okay? So if you guys don't have their card, make sure that you get it. So did this class bring you value today?
Yes.
Okay. So if I brought you value, right, I hope that it's worth one of your next referrals, okay? Is that an okay ask?
It will.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Flyers. My open
Yes.
houses are decorated with your flyers. I'm getting brought 5 or 6 outside.
Really?
Yes, but I'm missing Canadian buyers,
Okay.
credit optimization program,
Okay.
and I have about everything for you. Post it out there, and everybody gets a flyer, whoever enters the room. Or if you wanna buy before you sell, but you have to sell.
Oh, yeah.
I missed it because can we get
Oh, she's a woman.
make sure everyone signs
I will get you them in PDFs, yes. So if you email me exactly which ones you want, I will get them to you in PDF. Okay.
Because they're different. I'm holding a lot of open houses now, and it works like magic. I don't know whether you get phone calls, I have no idea.
Thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you. Thank you.
Keep doing it.
Okay, you got it. I promise. And Samuel will get them to you. You got it. Thank you so much. No, you got it. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. I appreciate it.
Need your help.
Okay.
Already.
Oh, good. Yay. Well, I will gladly help you.
Hello?
So, the reason why I was late coming in here was because I was talking with somebody about talking with another agent about an open house.
Okay.
One of the things that she wants me to do, since I'm a brand new agent, is to have a flyer created.
I don't know what she did. Yeah. All you have to do is email me. Yeah.
This is for Friday afternoon.
Great. So if you email Team Hoeffer, so the contact information we give to you. Hey Sam, do you have our card?
Yeah.
She'll give you our card. If you email her the stuff, she'll get you a flyer.
By Friday afternoon.
By Friday afternoon. You got it. Glad to solve your problem. High five. Do you have one of your cards? My card is attached to hers.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I apologize for being late, but that was equally important to me because this is about an open house and I need to get started in this, so
No worries. You got it.
thank you.
I'm new to the company,
Yes, very nice to meet you. What is your name?
Jackie. I'm giving you my old business card, but I'm working on getting my new cards.
Jackie, I know you.
Do we? Probably.
Yeah. I was like looking at you the whole time going,
Everybody says that. Everybody that I meet says that. Yeah, I get that a lot. I know you.
I'm like, I
Well,
know
I've been
you.
in business 16 years. Somewhere, you've been 17, right?
Yes.
So, somewhere.
My team also speaks Spanish. I do
Good.
not promote others. So,
Oh, nice. That's what I need. Someone expert that speaks Spanish.
sí. Tenemos 4 personas que hablan español.
Ah,
Son
qué
las personas.
padre, that's nice. Qué padre. Okay, so can I get your business card?
She has got them right here.
Okay. I have a niece that speaks Spanish. She does the both.
Perfect.
I'm pretty sure I can recommend.
Okay, perfect. Yes, please. Thank you you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Viví en España para 8 años,
Oh, good, well then mark it in Spanish.
pero,
Oh.
No worries, girl. I'm on it.
thank you, gracias.
I've seen your face like going through my thing, like, do you know her? I was like, no.
Do you have my
Well,
card?
now you do. I do.
But give it to me.
Okay.
Anyway, I can always use words. And I appreciate talking with you.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
The reason I came in late was I was talking to somebody about an open house on Friday. So there may be a need for this, like, in the foreseeable future.
We are always available. We're good to go. Thank you. Daily and 24-hour office.
Well, it's tough.
I appreciate your smiling face.
Well,
One time when I was in the office.
Tracking my greatest tracker.
Yeah.
And I still have, and I did a week ago, but,
You're better.
thank you, but I still have some of it, so.
Yeah, do you have a card?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This thing? No.
Yes.
Yeah, for like your people, so.
Yes.
I'm just back up, pull it up, and I'm like, oh, and I'm trying to like remember, and I'm like, oh shit.
So do I, and Hoeffer is so, just already, and I believe it, but I believe it because when I call people and talk to
I
them.
need to do my budget, what do I need to buy, how much money I need to spend.
Well, so you won't, at that point, you won't, with Michael and Liz, when they went through the budget amounts and what you needed to include and.
No, I'm talking about, I'm talking about expenses for the I have to sign.
I see, okay.
All that stuff that,
Yeah.
and I have my old sign, so I need to replace the sign, I have a green. But I need to replace the sign, I need to buy, I give up my table, I put my
Well, I'm
my table, my chairs, and I need my business cards, you know, all that stuff. It's all gonna come out.
Well, let me know when you're ready for open house.
We just put everything together.
And, so I have one for Friday afternoon.
Oh, good.
And, hopefully something for this weekend.
Okay.
I need to go with you.
Yeah. And I need to start.
Awesome, sounds good.
No, that's an inspection.
And Natasha, who was here yesterday,
Yeah.
very helpful. I'm doing the open house with her, and she's more concerned with getting these started. She's been doing this for like 14 years.
Yeah, that's what we do.
She wants to make sure I get the right stuff.
And good luck.
Yeah, thank you, you too.
I mean, I went to open houses, but
My first year in real estate back in 2002, I did 100.